Hope everyone had a wonderful, wonderful week. This week is Parshas Toldot, and we're introduced to the arch enemies, Esav and Yakov. And it's very striking how we learn about the beginning of these central figures in the next coming Parshios. And we see about Yakov, and our introduction to Yakov is very striking. He's told us, we're told about Yakov, he is Yakov Ish Tam Yoshev Ohalim. He sits in Beis Medrash. In contrast, Esav, of course, is Kitzai Befiv. He's a hunter. And one of the most striking psukim I think you'll find in the entire Chumash is Vayehav Yitzhak es Esav Kitzai Befiv Rivko Heves es Yakov. An asymmetry in the pasuk. And Yitzhak somehow is attracted to Esav. Why? Kitzai Befiv. Rivka, of course, her love for Yaakov is unconditional. For Rivko Heves es Yakov. But Yitzhak specifically, Kitzai Befiv, because he is some kind of hunter. Very striking. What exactly is Yitzhak? What does he see in Esav, and what is missing perhaps in Yaakov Avinu? So one can suggest perhaps an idea that maybe Yitzhak looked at Yaakov, and Yitzhak looked at himself. And when we look at Yitzhak, we find Yitzhak was the core source of spirituality. He was, his midah is gvura. Ezehu Gibor HaKovesh es Yitzro. He was an Ola Tmima. He could not leave Eretz Yisrael. He was a korban. He was Kulo Kadosh. His mincha was so profound that Rivka falls off her camel and has to veil herself when she sees his tefillah. This is Yitzhak. Yitzhak is a paragon of gvura, of otherworldliness. He's blinded at the Akedah because he's blinded from Olam Hazeh, from this world. He's on a totally different level. And perhaps when he looked at his two sons, he understood that one of these boys was going to become the father of Klal Yisrael, the father of Shvatim. Who was it going to be? Was it going to be Yaakov, the Ish Tam Yoshev Ohalim, his alter ego, the young man who sits in Beis Medrash, or was it going to be the person who's a doer, perhaps more like Avraham? Esav had the tchuna of being out there, being more aggressive, being more involved, perhaps dafka because of that midah. Kitzai Befiv, Yitzchak is attracted and sees Esav maybe as the one who might be the one who's going to carry on that legacy. Was he right? Was he wrong? So, of course, he was not right about Esav. But maybe fundamentally he was right, because Yakov, as Yakov emerges, and he has to navigate struggles with Lavan year after year, Rachel, Leah. He has to deal with his brother Esav. He has to deal with the loss of Yosef, with the rape of Dinah and Shem, and the whole travails that Yaakov has to go through. Yaakov indeed is going to emerge as that person, the person of action, who has to go ahead and overcome challenge after challenge after challenge. We see in Yaakov's career, stones are very much a part of his life. His pillows are stones, matzevos. He builds matzevos as karbonos because the rock, he has to move rocks, off of wells, he has to push to accomplish and to achieve big things. But it all starts from the Yaakov Ish Tam Yoshev Ohalim. So fundamentally, Yitzhak was correct that the next Av of Klal Yisrael was going to have to be that kind of personality. But what we see over here is that Yakov, because of his groundedness, because of his years in Yeshiva Shem Ve'ever, 14 years learning Ish Tam Yoshev Ohalim, that gave him the foundation, the strength to go down to Mitzrayim, to go down and meet all of his challenges. I tell the Yeshiva boys all the time, these are the years to be immersed in Limud Torah. It's very hard these days to be so immersed, but to be immersed in a very, very authentic and real way, in a total way. It's as the Ish Tam Yoshev Ohalim, and then look what Yaakov gets at the end. He gets everything. He gets Leah, who's destined to be Esav's wife. He's going to go ahead and get the brachos and the bechorah, that is Esav's. He dreams about malachim, olim v'yardim. He bridges shamayim v'aretz. Ladders, dreaming, connecting Shemayim V'aretz. This is who Yaakov is. He gets everything at the end of the day because of his strong, rooted foundation. The Yaakov Ish Tam Yoshev Ohalim. That's our introduction. That's our legacy. That's who we look up to, our role model. Bez Hashem, we achieve that goal of seeing that our rootedness is in the Beis Medrash, is in the Yeshiva, and that allows us then to go out and emerge as we confront the unique challenges of the world. Have a wonderful Shabbos Kodesh.